Your indifference costs these men and women their most valuable commodity, time.
This isn't about trying to get paid. I want to live. We are exposed to carcinogens that cause my cancer.
We shouldn't have to have a law that tells the cities that they have to do the right thing.
It sounds like there may be something, whether it's the bureaucracy or a loophole or something that needs to be fixed, but these men and women should have access to the services that they need.
Fighting fires and cancer, a story of denial.
Chapter 1. Firefighters and their stories of diagnosis and denial.
I'm KTAR reporter Allie Vettner. This comprehensive investigation started when we were approached by Valley firefighters who say they have cancer they got from the job. In the first part of this series, we tell their stories, from their diagnosis to their subsequent denial of worker compensation coverage. Just 2 years ago, the presumptive cancer legislation was amended to include nearly 20 cancers that if a firefighter is said to have this, their healthcare coverage should be all-inclusive. This is Goodyear firefighter Austin Peck. He just turned 35 years old and has since been medically retired because they say he's no longer fit for duty.
The treatment's hard, but I always make the joke that fighting not only my regular insurance, but health or industrial insurance is way harder than fighting the cancer. And it's terrible to say, but that's the truth.
Fellow Goodyear firefighter Gilbert Aguirre was diagnosed in the same year, 2015, as his friend Austin Peck. Not only did they work at the same fire station together for nearly 5 years, but they also went through a cancer battle together.
At that time, I got my 3 young boys, and so I always get emotional when I talk to this because I always remember that same day, but the day when I had to sit them down and tell them, like, hey, this is what I got, when I have leukemia.
Gilbert set up an event for when he cleared his cancer, and he donated everything to me. Everything was about me when we're there partying for Gilbert. And he just beat cancer, and that's how deep the love is. I worked with Gilbert on the ladder truck for years and years, and it was supposed to be a huge party for him, and my whole every family and friends showed up, and it was just a love event. It took away my cancer for the night, for a couple days.
Captain Kevin Thompson has been on the Glendale Fire Department for 26 years. He's been diagnosed with multiple myeloma, which is said to be a cancer that's lifelong.
I remember when I found out that it was one of the presumptuous cancers, the relief that came over me, and I thought, oh my gosh, at least I know that I'll be able to get help with the lifelong treatment that I'm going to require, and that I won't be a burden on my family. And I remember thinking what a relief it was.
Peter Benzing has been on the job for nearly 11 years as a Casa Grande firefighter. He too has a cancer that is listed on the presumptive cancer law.
Once I was certain that it hadn't spread and we had kind of a surgical date set, I filed the workman's comp paperwork, and then started making phone calls and educating myself to the process. And I called a couple friends, and they put me in touch with Brian Moore, and then some other firefighters that were going through it themselves, like Gilbert or Kevin, and kind of had a better idea of what I was in store for. So, and they warned me that I most likely would be denied.
Across the state, denials for cancer presumptive claims is a pretty substantial number. We've had cases that have been approved across the state, but the denials far outweigh the approvals, and we thought things would be a little bit different when the law was passed in 2017.
Although their claims may differ depending on the city they work for, they all follow a very similar process. Once they submit their worker compensation claim, they're then seen by an independent medical examiner that's hired by their city's insurance company, or in some cases, the cities themselves.
I had to print out all the last 15 years of my career, I had to print out all the calls, all the fires I've been onto. So now I'm sitting in front of a computer going through, trying to set up every call, print everything out, trying not to start puking, and so just spending all my time instead of getting better or working on just my health, now trying to prove a case.
These firefighters shared with me what their independent medical exam was like. Some of them didn't even meet this doctor and just were told that he reviewed their medical files. Others told me they weren't even physically touched by him.
The IME that Workman's Comp or Copper Point hired, he denied and said, well, we realize that they're exposed to all the different carcinogens and they can possibly cause the cancer, but you have to tell us which one did it. And it's like, that's almost impossible.
Each firefighter I interviewed confirmed that their independent medical exam included Scottsdale-based oncologist Dr. Jason Selgonic. Many firefighters believe this is where their denial originates, making their cancer diagnosis seem unrelated to the job. And this is where their city sides with whatever the independent medical examiner's findings are. In court documents obtained by KTAR News, Dr. Jason Selgonic has estimated that he's examined anywhere from 20 to 30 firefighters. He's yet to find one case where he can link their cancer to the job.
You know, I live in the firefighter medical world. It's what I do every day. And I know that the correlation exists because I look for it. And what I say to the IMEs is do your homework and do the right thing because it's there.
Here's our top story.
KTAR News, 92.3 FM, Arizona's news station.